This is Sir Alexander back again with part 2 of this RPG.net tournament game between Grant and Crimsin. This is a best of 3. Looks like we have some Dark Templar coming in here, but this Overseer's going to come in, and that's what a waste, as these guys will get taken down or just run for it. Those guys are pretty expensive too, if I remember correctly. Let me look up real quick what their cost is. Looks like, yeah, 125 and 125. That is very expensive. So a little bit of a misturn there. Really not a mismanagement, as he really couldn't have known that he had this Overseer up. But just I guess a stroke of bad luck. Anyways, looks like Crimsin is doing a very good job with scouting out these expansions. You really should put an Overlord over these expansions too. As the Zerg, you always want to have an Overlord over the island expansions, because your Zerglings and armies and natural units are not going to scout those. And if they don't, oh dear. Well, let me finish what I was saying. And because they won't scout those, then it means a transport can come, drop off a worker, build a command center or something here, or a nexus, and you won't scout it for the whole game. And then you go check the replay and you realize why they won is because they had both island expansions and were doubling your income. Anyway, so there's another tip. It looks like 4 Stargates going up, so he will definitely be massing something. We're about to find out what. I don't see a fleet beacon going up. Do we have a fleet beacon? No fleet beacon, but we do have air armor, so he's doubtless going to go for Void Rays. Very good option. We'll see how long he can hide this. This guy, who is this guy? Crimsin. Crimsin really needs to scout this. He does have a Hydralisk Den go up, so good game sense to use his intuition to think that he's going to go Void Rays. Looks like this hatchery is about to be done. These workers can be moved out. 3 more spine crawlers, moving to more forward position. Very good move. Since there's really not too much in the base that you really want to protect, except for tech buildings. Yeah, there we go. Anyways, these guys are tunneling in right here. Over here, we've got these guys guarding the gold expansion. Nobody's controlling the Zelnaga Watchtower. As Zerg, again, another tip, it's always worth the 50 crystals just to have a Zergling at these towers. I mean, it takes actually thinking about it, but it's always a good idea to have a guy at those towers. Burrow is being researched, so doubtless we might see some tunneling roach crazy action. Looks like both players are just macroing here for a little while, so I'm going to speed this up. As soon as we get to some action, I'll slow it down. But so not too much going on. He's just chrono boosting like mad, these guys. This one isn't producing yet. He might be supply blocked. No, he's got 124 supply plenty. He's also putting out stalkers for his ground army. It's always good to have guys to back up your Void Rays. I usually prefer Zealots to back them up, but Stalkers are also a good choice, especially since they have blinks, so they can go up and down cliffs. It's always frustrating when you have Void Rays like here, and they move to the main base, so then your Stalkers have to run, your Zealots have to run all the way around, whereas if you just have blink, you can just blink up there. And there are also Mutalisks, and Stalkers are very strong against Mutalisks. Looks like we could see some harassment or something going on, but that's going to get absolutely nowhere with all those Void Rays that are out right now. Looks like they'll take down nothing. So I don't think they got anything out of that attack. So that was kind of worthless, but you really can't tell. And looks like Crimsin is about to be totally steamrolled here if he doesn't do something like mad. He needs to put up about 1 billion spore crawlers. He has 6 Hydralisks on the way. That's the right unit, but it might be way too late as he is supply blocked now. Oh, there goes some more supply. And there's a whole bunch of, how many Void Rays is that? It's like 11, 12 Void Rays. There is, he is in very bad shape now. 6 Hydralisks on the way. Don't know if those are new ones or old ones. 3 more Void Rays on the way. He's almost got as many, he'll have more Void Rays than he will Hydralisks if this fight ensues soon. I mean, well, maybe not. That's a bunch of Hydralisks, but those Void Rays should still chew right through them, especially if they get charged up. So Void Rays coming, and they do have 1 weapon and 1 air. An excellent choice here. He charges up. I think he's charged. Is he charged? There we go. He is charged up, meaning those Hydralisks are going to get totally owned. Let's see how many Void Rays he even loses. 1 goes down. He lost 1 Void Ray. This guy lost like 20 Hydralisks and he lost 1 Void Ray because he charged them up first on this command center. If he had not have had them charged up, that fight Probably still would have gone to the Void Race, but they would have lost a lot more. There are 6 Corruptors coming, but this really has to be GG. I mean, even if he gets 6 Corruptors out, that's way too many Void Rays. They can easily take on that many Corruptors. So long as Grant pushes here, he can totally take out this base, and this base can soon follow, as there's really no anti-air defense. Spore Crawlers, he should really get some Spore Crawlers up, put some Corruptors out. Let's see. Yeah, here's the real, this is what really tells the game. He's sitting on 3,000 crystals right now. You want to be spending every single crystal as it comes in. You should really, in Starcraft 2, you should really never have more than 400 crystals in the bank. The only reason you would ever have 400 crystals in the bank is because you're saving up for a command center or a nexus. So for Zerg, you should really never have more than 300. Now, of course, it's really difficult to actually keep them that low. Oh, and I love that the spiders, like, all the buildings die in different ways. Anyways, it's really hard to actually keep it that low, but you really have to try. And if you're sitting on 3,000 crystals, I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to lose, because right now he has 3,000 crystals, and what could he do? The only thing he can really do to win this game is tell all these guys to build Spore Crawlers. And how much? What is Spore? Oh, he doesn't even have an Evo chamber up yet. But he really should have built all of those. He should have built a bunch of Spore Crawlers beforehand. So right now he says, man, the Void Rays get me every time. That Hydralisk gets owned, as will all of these other units, and this has to be GG. There we go. Well, he doesn't call it GG, but I guess he kind of said GG. That wasn't really a rage quit. Anyway, so he leaves the game. Excellent game. Goes to Grant. Grant did really well. He should have, I would say for Grant, should have pushed earlier with those Zealots. It's always better to push earlier than later. I mean, you might think that you might be tempted to say, oh, I just want to get, but it's better just to push rather than get those Zealots often. So long as you have 3 Zealots is really enough to do a lot of damage. And usually, if a Protoss player goes straight to a pylon, 2 warp gates, and then, 2 gateways, don't tech to warp gate, puts up 2 gateways straight up, and then gets 3 Zealots out, or 4, he should be able to get in here before the Zerg even has a decent number of Zerglings, and definitely won't have any Spine Crawlers up by that time. And if you push in that early, and somebody's playing like TLO, he probably won't even have his spawning pool finished. So early rushes really work well, but if you're going to early rush, you need to early rush. There's no point to wait until you have 20 Zealots, because then the guy's probably going to scout you with an Overlord. He'll just put up Spine Crawlers and go to a Roach Warren, and if he has decent micro with his Roaches, he'll be able to fight off your Zealots. Other than that, the Void Race, switch over to the tech to the Void Race, was a very good move. Could have been done a little bit earlier, but that's just all around general better gameplay. As far as Crimsin, he could have expanded to these island expansions. Getting to these island expansions is always a good choice. It's a great move. And then when he saw those Void Rays, he really needed to put up some Spore Crawlers. I mean, it's easy for me to say this as I'm watching the game, but it's a lot more difficult when you're actually playing. So Spore Crawlers really would have helped. And other than that, I guess he could have pushed a little bit more. And I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to watch it again, but I'm sure I'll have more tips in the future games. And again, I don't know how the races work, whether these guys are playing on random or whether they're playing on, or whether they have locked races, or whether they can change it every round. So first of 3 goes to Grant, and we shall see. So that means that Crimsin will be able to pick the next map, and hopefully he'll do better on his own map. So thank you, and join me again for Game 2.